These are challenging times as we all face the realities of a global pandemic, and our hearts go out to the people who've been affected by COVID-19 and those on the front lines, hospital and healthcare workers, first responders, grocery and pharmacy employees. At a time like this, sharing a video such as the latest installment of our vlog can seem tone-deaf and insensitive, which is why we've struggled as to whether to post this. After a lot of thought, we decided to share this because we realize that most, if not all of us, are sheltering in place, and we hope that the attached video, in which we reflect on our time in Bali and our decision to move to Portugal, will entertain and be a welcome distraction, if only for a few minutes. At the end of the video, we've included some additional drone footage from areas of Bali that we explored during our 7 months there, but that didn't make it into our earlier videos.
It is truly a magical place, and our hearts go out to the people of Bali during this very difficult time. Wishing you all peace and good health now and in the weeks and months ahead.
So we came to Bali in late May of 2019. Our expectation at that time was that we would be here for a year. And unfortunately, I think we were the victims of a historically hot, what they call wet season, which is, we came right at the cusp of the dry season, which starts in May and goes typically through October. Humidity is low. The temperatures are relatively low. In the evening, we'd go down to the beach, and Christianna would actually have a wrap because
and earmuffs at night.
So pretty much every night we'd go down to the beach and sit on the lounges in front of the Hyatt there and just look at and watch the constellations as they sort of moved across the sky throughout the year. It was really awesome.
And every once in a while, we would see the brightly moving International Space Station.
Yes, which if you're interested, you can go to spotthestation.com and they will tell you from your location when you can see it, so we kept a fairly close eye on that. Beginning November, the humidity certainly went up, but there was very little overcast. Pretty much every day was a cloud-free sky, and from early November until today,
which is late
December, it's been in the low 90s every day, and mid-afternoon the humidity is typically over 70%, which produces a feels-like temperature of between 105 and 110, which is really stifling inside the villa. It's 33 degrees centigrade, which is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I think our tolerance for heat has gone way up because the bedroom now feels cool when it's like 80 degrees.
It's true, it is all very relative.
So we've just ruined ourselves. We're gonna go back to colder climates and just be cold. But anywho.
But we can dress for cold.
We can dress for cold.
So this is Putu behind us. He's our gardener who comes 6 days a week, and it's just kind, hard worker, super friendly, does a great job. We'll miss Putu.
Yes, we will miss Putu. With that, reflections on Bali. What did we love about Bali? I think one of the things I really liked about Bali was just how exotic it is. I would be walking to the store and just sort of reflect on the fact that I was living in Indonesia and how cool that was, and picked up enough Bahasa Indonesian to be able to communicate somewhat. My greatest concern, however, was when I would start to speak my limited Indonesian, people would think that I knew how to speak Indonesian, so they'd be firing questions back at me, and I just have this sort of deer in the headlight dumb stare at it until they finally realized that they kind of overplayed my hand. But yeah, just being able to be in this culture for 7 months has been really terrific.
My favorite part about Bali is the people and the kindness and the compassion and the warmth with which we've been welcomed here for these last 7 months.
Yeah, the first 5 months or so when we were in the dry season, maybe 4 months, it was just really ideal, and we didn't really have that need to escape every day. I did make some friends at the Bali Beach golf course, which is about a 35-minute walk from here. So every Tuesday I would walk up to the golf course and play golf and play with my friends there, who are primarily expats from the UK. One was from the Caribbean, some folks from Australia. So it was a mixed bag of expats, and it was a lot of fun. They were very welcoming to me and made me feel right at home, and it was sort of a highlight of my week was my weekly trips to the golf course and my 12-mile days, which was fun. But as the heat went up, it got a little more...
A little less fun?
A little less fun.
Another thing I really love about Bali is the natural beauty. And you hear about it, but just to see it, the natural lushness and the floral, the green, everywhere you look, it's just lush. It's lush and verdant and delightful. So I don't ever want to forget how serene and how beautiful this place really is. We're woken up by birdsong every morning, which could sound irritating perhaps to some, but to us it's just music to our ears. The birds start about 5:30 in the morning and chirp their little songs, and we've even started to recognize some of them.
There's a bird that we've come to recognize. He has several songs. One of them is When the Saints Come Marching In. He does the first 4 notes of that, and he also sings Tiny Bubbles by Don Ho. Yeah, there's a couple others. He's very versatile, though.
Very versatile.
I love our swimming pool. That was one of the highlights. A little less of a delight when it's 100 degrees because it doesn't exactly cool one down.
And
but
it's salty now.
yeah, well, that's I mean, flipping over to some of the things that are less pleasant. One of the consequences of the non-wet season. Yeah, the water level of the fresh water has dropped to the point now where the pump is just basically sucking up ocean water. The ocean's about 200 meters away.
So that's what we're washing our dishes in, that's what we're showering in, we're washing our clothes in. So things are a little salinic.
Yes, very salinic. Indonesia is a developing country, and I think Bali is become so popular that the infrastructure has not grown to meet the demand, and so getting around our part of Bali, which is we're on the eastern edge of Denpasar, which is the big city. Getting around here is a challenge because the road systems just aren't suited for the level of traffic. So, for example, a few months ago we had lunch with some friends in Canggu, which is I think about 10 miles away, and it took us an hour and a half to get there and an hour and a half to get back home.
So 3 hours to get 10 miles there and back.
And getting around in Grab, which is the equivalent of Uber here, is really great. It's cheap, and we've had very little trouble with that as an option.
Oh, another thing that we would love and will miss about Bali is the fruit. Some of you may know that we are plant-based eaters, and we love our fresh fruit. And I don't know if you can see, there's a mango tree in our yard that's just now starting to drop its fruit, and oh my gosh, it is heavily laden with mangoes, and I am a mango fanatic, so I'll miss those mangoes a lot. We have them every single day for breakfast.
Yeah, it's been interesting to live in a place that people come from all over the world to vacation. As I walk along the pathway along the beach in Sanur, you get that vibe of people on vacation, and you get the vibe of the people who've just arrived and are fired up about being in Bali for 2 weeks, 10 days. And then you get the other vibe of the people who are sort of having their final dinner in Bali before they head back to work, wherever that is. And so it's interesting to live in an area where people come for sort of the trip of a lifetime, and it sort of refreshes your appreciation of the place.
It's a destination.
Yeah, absolutely.
Destination town.
For very good reasons. I mean, it is a beautiful, unique place on Earth, and between the beauty that Christianna was talking about, just sort of the geologic elements of the island with these big volcanoes that are sort of semi-active, and waterfalls, and the ocean. During a trip over Christmas, I was finally able to go scuba diving, which I've just been sort of hankering to do since we got here. And basically it was an introductory dive, and got down about 35 feet, and I was the only one there. It was Christmas Eve day, so I don't know if people were doing other things, but it was just me and the guide, and it was awesome. I just loved it.
Well, one thing that we don't love about Bali is how far it is from our family and friends. It's probably about a 35-hour commute to get back to our friends and family in Portland, and so we're thinking that that's just too far. We miss them. It's not easy to get back, and Portugal will be about half that distance. So we do, I feel, travel fairly light. We don't have a moving service. The moving service is us.
Yes, we are the moving
Whatever we
service.
can get in our suitcases and his golf bag. We did have to buy one more suitcase recently just for the extra. I don't know.
We don't know.
We haven't really purchased that much
No.
here, but it seems like things have just expanded a little bit. So anyway,
I think it's the humidity. I think we
and
actually got
expands.
rid of things, but things just expanded.
So off we go to the airport New Year's Eve tomorrow. We'll do it. It's a wrap. It's a Bali wrap.
It's a Bali wrap,
Stay
yes.
tuned. Well, think of us as we transport all of our goods to yet another country.
I guess our next installment will be our introduction to the Lisbon area. So, all right,
Bye.
thanks. See ya.